Now, Elagatua, I have to say, it's really funny that I kind of somewhat coasted along on the coattails of your creation, and I'm often credited as one of the creators of Triforce Blitz, even though I had nothing to do with it.
Well, it wouldn't be possible without the amazing website, and this season we're going to be taking full advantage of that because we're going to let people have their spoiler logs unlock after the races. So you deserve all the credit that people give, but enough about us. We've got a qualifier to enjoy with everybody together, and I want to welcome everybody who's back from season 1 and watching for the first time in a long time, and to any new viewers who have no idea what Triforce Blitz is, welcome to this unique game mode that's very different from probably other OoT speedruns or races that you may have seen elsewhere. So I think to start off, maybe Spell, if you have any thoughts, I'll give you a chance to say your stuff. But other than that, I'm going to go into an explanation of what TFB is very shortly.
Yeah. Well, first I would like to say, I would like to announce our runners for today, Kurtree Z and which are great names, by the way. Nah, I'm kidding. It's Crescent Astronomy. Otherwise than that, I have nothing to add. You go ahead.
All right. Well, that was a loud noise.
Was it really? I'm sorry.
I don't know. So yeah, we got Krez and Astronomy, two of our regulars, very experienced with the mode. But there's probably a lot of people that have no idea what this mode is. So let me give you the rundown before we kick this race off. So in Triforce Blitz, there is no Ganon. He has been banished. You will only see Ganon in the credits. The goal of this mode is to find the 3 Triforce pieces. They are hidden in the seed in dungeons, and the runners have 2 hours to hopefully find all the pieces, or as many as they can find in the 2-hour time period. And then as long as each racer has 1 Triforce piece before the 2-hour time limit, then you're done. No matter how well you did, how terrible you did, you're free. Triforce pieces are hidden in dungeons only, so they're not going to be hidden in the overworld. If you want to find the Triforce pieces, you will need to go to the dungeons, and at the beginning of the seed, when the runners will spawn in at the Temple of Time, there will be some very powerful hints that are always placed at the Temple of Time that give an idea of how deep in the seed the Triforce pieces are. This is very useful information because in Triforce Blitz, the hints are very strong, and so Triforce Blitz is all about going to where the Triforce pieces are and trying to skip everything else as much as possible. So with these strong hints and with what we call the path count hints that are at the Temple of Time, the runners will have a lot of information to try and figure out the mystery of the seed and figure out where ultimately those pesky Triforce pieces are hidden, get there as fast as possible, and press the .done button.
I do have a couple of say. I think what makes Triforce Blitz so exciting as a mode to me, as someone who doesn't really play it but likes to watch it and commentate it, I think it's just that Triforce Blitz really realizes the ideal of Ocarina of Time Randomizer as a puzzle to be solved. You get such strong hints that you're no longer, well, most of the time, hopefully, no longer playing a guessing game, but you're making informed decisions based on the information that you have, which to me was always the appealing part of Ocarina of Time Randomizer. Am I quiet?
No, you're fine. I think so okay. Dastar will take care of volume issues, but all right. But yeah, so Triforce Blitz is absolutely puzzle rando, and so if you're here with us in the chat, it's a fun place because you get to try and figure out the puzzle with us. For this tournament, we've had a number of runners that have done this seed async. So if you're one of those people that's run this async and have information, I just kindly ask that just be careful about what you say. We don't really want any spoilers in the chat because we certainly I have avoided any information on the seed, and I know Spell doesn't know anything either. So we're just trying to go into this blind, along with all the runners in the race room that are competing live. But this is a seeding race for the upcoming Triforce Blitz tournament. So it's not really a qualifier, so to speak. If you basically just play the race, you're qualified. Nobody's going to get eliminated today based on the qualifiers, but we wanted to have every tournament should have one nice big race where everybody's racing together, playing the same seed, and then we'll draw some seedings from this that will be used to draw some groups later on. But Triforce Blitz is really made to be played in like 1 versus 1 best of 3s, and so this is just the first step along the way to get us to the kind of the meat or the main part of the tournament.
Indeed. Yeah, sure. But what would you like me to talk about? I mean, I can talk about anything. You know, I'm very good at like going off topic. We can talk about pizza and good toppings. Just let me know when you have enough of my voice. Yeah, they're sick. We are really looking like a professional electronic sports organization right now with this layout. I'm only saying that to piss off Death Star, who I know hates that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
That was my bad. That's why you don't put me in charge of anything.
You know. All right, quickly though. Just a reminder, who won Triforce Blitz tournament last year?
That was Fabio in a extremely exciting finals. And let's see.
8, 8, and 4. Okay. So 8 power, 8 wisdom, and 4 on the path to courage. That's interesting. 2 8s makes me think that 2 paths might overlap quite a bit, but we'll see.
Yeah, so about these numbers are the number of items that logically are required to reach the location that specific Triforce piece is in. So the higher the number, often the harder it is to actually get to the piece. Although with logic skips and things like that, your experience may vary depending on the layout of the individual scene. And right off the bat, we've got an interesting medallion layout because Shadow is Forest Medallion. So if the song on Prelude or Burning Cack is important to be able to find the Triforce pieces, then our runners are going to have to go through Shadow Temple. And if that's the case, then we might get a lot of hints for items that let you get into Shadow Temple. Conversely, if we don't get those hints, then our runners might want to avoid Shadow Temple like the plague, because Shadow Temple, if required, often has a lot of hints that point to it. So we'll get a better idea that as we get more information, our runners are just starting to get into CAC, which is the standard opener for this mode, and we'll start figuring out the beginnings of this puzzle.
And it makes sense that hints would point towards the Shadow Temple in that case, because the way the hint distribution works in Triforce Blitz is that dungeons are preferred for hints. So if Shadow Temple is required, it's almost impossible for it not to show up at some point because of how many checks there are for that dungeon.
Yeah, and especially with path counts this low, if power and wisdom are in fact in the same dungeon, which they could be because they're both 8, they don't have to be, and it's not uncommon for pieces in different dungeons to have the same number. But if they are in the same dungeon, then there's a decent chance that that every single logically required item could have a hint pointing to it. Because 884 means that there could be a lot of overlap between the items needed to get to the pieces in this scene. So again, we'll kind of have a better idea of that maybe in like 15 or 20 minutes. But there should be a lot of strong information, especially compared with last year's qualifier seed, which was its own very exciting disaster.
Oh god, I remember that. Well, vaguely actually, but I do remember it slightly.
I think last year was like there was I think one that was a 20 plus or something like that, and
yeah,
it was a mess.
It was not a good seed to start the season off with, or maybe it was. Depends on your point of view, I suppose.
So another thing that's important to mention as part of Triforce Blitz is that we had Ganon's castle was on the path of power, and in Triforce Blitz, the bridge to Ganon's castle is unlocked after the runners obtain 2 dungeon rewards, and the runners start with 1 dungeon reward. So basically what this means is that in order to get access to Ganon's castle, you need to beat 1 dungeon, and that will get them into Ganon's castle. So also seems like a pretty fast start. We get ZL in CAC, which is very nice. Going to unlock a second song in the graveyard, so maybe some warps.
And warps are very useful, a couple of them especially, but we definitely don't want delay, because we already have a full chance for the valley. Makes Lake a lot less appealing. Still useful to have, though.
Yeah, and to answer the question in chat, so the winner is determined by the fastest person to find 3 pieces. However, if the 2 hours passes and the runner does not have all 3, then it goes down to how many pieces the person has found, as well as how fast they found their most recent piece as kind of the tiebreaker to rank people.
Yes.
For an 884 seed, I would expect, unless there's something horrifying about this seed that makes it very tricky, I think there's a good chance that most of the runners will find all 3.
We'll definitely have a winner, I think, is a safe bet. There will be a first place finisher today. That's almost like before the timer runs out. I can't see it going any other way. Unless this is some truly hellish creation, which it could be.
It's not unheard of. I think I had a seed a few weeks ago that was, not much higher than this, that ended up being a 2 out of 3 for me. So sometimes they can catch you off guard, but anything that has all the path counts below 10, like today's seed, usually for like an experienced runner should be no problem to get all 3 in time.
Yeah. Also, one thing to consider is that back in Season 1, we had the old generator website, which was notorious for generating the worst fucking seeds ever conceived to man. And the new generator site is a lot nicer. From what people have told me, it's obviously make-believe. There's no algorithm in place, but, hopefully this year less hell seeds.
you say that, but I had a seed like a week or 2 ago with an unlock hint with a bottle unlocks a bow, and the bow is like 20 skulls or something. Anyway, so
oh my god.
Sometimes you just get absolute horror.
We're watching some really nice Dampe races right here. People moving fast. So let's talk about the runners that we have on display today. We have Jackstronomy and Chris. Both are very experienced Triforce Blitz runners, and community, like people you'll see in the community a lot, especially in this game mode. They've been playing for a long time. I think both of them played Season 1 as well.
Yeah, that's right. And I know Krez especially has been grinding a lot of seeds, and Triforce Blitz is a mode that experience in the the traditional rando tournaments only gets you so far. Like the skill set for Triforce Blitz is very different, and the more that you practice this mode specifically, the less the traditional experience really matters. So you might see some names that you probably aren't familiar with from like kind of the standard tournaments, if that's something you've watched in the past, because a lot of the runners that play Blitz practice Blitz very specifically in preparation for this tournament, and I expect the players that will do well in this tournament may be the players that spent a lot of time in Blitz specifically.
Yeah, it's also kind of worth pointing out that since Blitz seats are pretty short, mechanical skill is not as highly valued as it might be in regular Ocarina of Time Randomizer. It's still important, but I mean, good thinking skills will definitely get you a lot further here than good mechanics. Ideally, you have both. That's the golden girl, right?
Yeah, so to answer a question in chat, so why is the timer negative? The timer's negative because just the timer program kind of forces us to have a negative there so that it counts down. So just ignore the minus. In Triforce Blitz, we have a 2-hour time limit, and so we are counting down from 2 hours. And once the timer reaches 0, in 99% of the cases, the seed is over, regardless of whether people have found all of the Triforce pieces or not. So, it's just kind of a timer to reflect that time is running out. it's not going to count up forever until someone finishes.
The minus actually makes quite a bit of sense. When you have rocket launches, you also count up from T minus 10 seconds to 0 before you start the actual countdown. And we have quite a divergence going on here. Jax is still climbing this roof, and Chris is still trying to climb that ledge in the river.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of kind of execution spaghetti going on early on. River is a play that racers will often prioritize in Triforce Blitz. It's a very good location because there's 2 checks that can be accessed out of logic to maybe break open the seed a little bit. But also, very importantly, there's 3 hint stones in the river, and getting that early information can help the runners figure out what areas to prioritize and maybe think about extending their child section, or if they're able to like find a scale or some way through the shortcut at the top of river, they can get early access to adult SFM out of logic. So there's just kind of like a lot of opportunities to get some important information in the river, and oftentimes runners will go there immediately after attack. And that's our first unlock hint there. That is a Zora scale unlocks a hookshot. So that's some really important information.
Yeah, that's a great hint to find early on. And I think this is kind of what sets Triforce Blitz apart from standard Ocarina of Time Randomizer. Of course, in Ocarina of Time Randomizer, hints are still extremely important, but in Triforce Blitz, they are literally your lifeblood, and people will route around, like finding their hints quickly, up to the point where they don't need them anymore, of course.
Yeah, and so unlock hints are a new type of hint for Season 2. And so not only does it say that the Zora scale leads to a hookshot, but this also confirms that that Zora scale and hookshot are what is called path items. So both the scale and the hookshot are logically required to get one of the Triforce pieces in the seed. And that's kind of unusual because Zora scale being a logically required item, it means that one specific Zora scale is the required item. So it's not like just any Zora scale. So there's some Zora scale somewhere that you logically need to finish this. And that's a less common item, and it kind of narrows down what can be out there. Zora's scale being required often means that the seed is very locked down, and there's not a lot of items available in the early checks, and it might raise the value of going out of logic. But we'll see what our runners come up with. We've got Market on the Path of Courage, so that's some good information for child routing as Krez is in the market, and Jax, I think, will be following shortly. Actually, I'm not sure where Jax is headed, but...
Yeah, me either. I think they thought they had a Zora skill for a moment. Zora skill, though, it's an interesting item. A small correction, maybe, to what Ida said. It's not... Well, it could be one specific skill. It could also mean that it needs both skills, even though one is implied, in case it's something like the lab dive, in which case we would need both skills to get that one.
Yep, that's correct. So we know at least one scale is logically required, but it certainly could be both. Looks like Jax
there
is
we go.
Yeah, so there's our scale. And it's very interesting because the checks that scale locks, it's a pretty small limited, it's a limited number of checks, and so and actually 2 of the checks that are locked by scale could be in the river, which we just saw. So we actually know it's neither of those. So some of the other checks that potentially might have this hookshot, Zora's Domain seems like potentially could be a thing.
Perhaps? There's also
Yep, or potentially it's just both. And that's a DMT on power as well. So interesting. That's what I'll say for now.
The weird thing about the scale is, of course, that it doesn't necessarily need to lock it directly like as something like a check, but it can also just be for access to a certain area.
Yeah, and it could very easily be something like scale locks a bomb bag, and then the hookshot is just out there somewhere. We'll see. Yeah. But that scale was, we call it the Sphere Zero scale, because it was out on the world map without any required items, because it was on the shooting gallery. So already seeing some divergence in our 2 runners. With Saria's song being available as the starting song, the minuet check is available from the very beginning. So Jax wants all of the songs in Logic in adult before going child, and Krez opting to just go straight child with the information from River. So be very interested to see what the song turns out to be.
I think there's a lot of value also in display, because songs can be pretty valuable, especially with the ones we have right now not being the greatest. There's still a lot of warp songs out there, which could be very useful to get around the map quicker. But also, there's quite a few hints here. There's whole 3 of them.
Yeah, and a really nice jump up to the ledge there by Jax.
Very nice,
and this is going to be 3 hints and a song, so... okay, there you go. Domain on Courage.
Yeah. That's a very valuable hint. That we already knew.
Yeah, so Domain on Courage, you can kind of get an idea of how these hints play together now, because we know that the scale is required, and Domain was kind of at the top of our list of checks that need scale to get to. So wouldn't be shocked to see either like a bomb bag or that hookshot showing up in Domain, and then not really having a whole lot of other items available in the early checks. And Bolero in Minuet, that's actually a great song to get, because that's another free song.
Yeah, not only is it a free song, but it gives you access to the Fire Temple, which we do not have yet, but with the hookshot, like, presumably pretty early on available, so shouldn't take too much long. But you can get here now without it. That's pretty nice. What was I going to say? Yeah, so the thing with unlock hints, that I'm not sure if Ela went over it, but it doesn't mean that the scale directly locks the hookshot. It's just like if you imagine like a chain of items that leads to the hookshot, we know the scale is on it for sure, and it's a specific scale. Like if there's another scale out in the world, it would not be on that list if you could replace it for the other scale.
Yeah, and so Chad is already trying to decode this scale logic, and so this is what we mean when we talk about Triforce Blitz being a puzzle. We have ZL available, so we know that ZL is not the problem for getting into Domain. The reason that we probably need this scale to get into Domain is because probably all logical explosives are locked behind whatever is in Domain. So it could just be like the bomb bag in Domain, or it could be maybe there's a hookshot in Domain that locks all of the explosives. Or, it could even be something like Domain for hookshot to unlock Ganon's castle, and then there's a bomb bag in Ganon's castle that's the first bomb bag available. So there's like a lot of possibilities like that that you can kind of deduce where items can be and where they can't be based on what items are required and where you found the required items.
Yeah, in many ways, I think Triforce Blitz, you can kind of compare it to a jigsaw puzzle, except the pieces are hidden all over your house, and you do not know what the final puzzle image looks like. But as you get more pieces, you kind of start to see more of the puzzle, and you can kind of fill in the blanks yourself with your imagination.
So to answer another question in chat, in these settings, bomb shoes are always in big chests. So if runners run across any bomb shoes, they're highly likely to pick them up. It's actually a great thing to find, because based on the hints we have in this seed, it seems likely that bombs are kind of hidden in a silly location, and anything that the runners can do to kind of get out of logic and skip things that aren't actually required by the seed, like if they can do either out of logic skips or find choose to get to checks that wouldn't otherwise be available. Potentially that could save a lot of time if the layout of the seed is silly, and it's looking a little bit silly.
It is looking pretty silly. We now also have Krez in the meadow, but he's a child, so he'll be getting a different song than Jax got. We know Bolero is here as an adult on the Minuet check, but we're about to see Saria's song, which is also a different check.
Yeah, so there's going to be a new song here for Krez, and actually, Jax's route is really going to reward them, because the song that Jax ultimately ended up with was Serenade, and with that scale that they just got on Child Shooting Gallery, yeah, so this is straight to Serenade, and this is going to be our first look at Domain. Jax has the information from adult SFM and says, I don't need any of these other checks. I don't need Lon Lon. I don't need the song there. Like, forget it. I'm just going to where I know I need to go, and I'm going to skip everything else. And that's something you can do in Blitz.
Yeah, the Courage path is very short, and I believe Zora's domain is on the path to Courage. So at this point, you have so much information available to you. You'll be crazy not to go to the domain right now. Unless I was wrong and it's not domain, it's very possible. Ooh, what's that? Is that a... What is that?
Magic, maybe? I can't tell.
It looks like a black void to me. I see only the shadow.
That is magic, for sure.
You think so?
Yes, I do think so.
I would not doubt you on these things.
So that's very interesting. So magic is also scale locked, and we don't have any confirmation that that is a path item, because we know that scale locks, probably locks a path item in domain, but that's just kind of interesting to keep in the back of our minds. I think, yeah, good.
It would be interesting if it was the magic, though, because we don't have anything to use this magic with. We would need another item on. And if that's true, then our options are becoming very short. Like a magic locking a hookshot, there's not many options left at that point. Like there's not many checks that hard require a magic item in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should just assume that it's going to be some big item in child domain, and if it's not, then we'll analyze the situation. But Krez also making it into child domain, getting that scale makes it very convenient to get over there from the Lost Woods, and with ZL, missing Serenade is not really the end of the world, because it's just it's a dive and a song, and you're there as well. So both our runners making good use of the information available to them, and let's see what they find.
I like Jax going for the old school, like non-storage way of doing this. A little bit of a blast on the path. Actually, Crest doing it too. Have people changed their mind on this? I always saw people like storing their flames and then they just walk kind of back from the NPC for a little to get their flame going, and they fell down the waterfall.
I did get 5 dived 2 seeds in a row, so I can definitely understand just not wanting to get tilted if something silly happens. And here's a big chest, so will this be the thing that unlocks the rest of our progression?
I think the odds of that are highly likely. If I were a betting man, and I'm not, but if I were, I would bet money on this being the item we're looking for.
Speaking of being a betting man or woman, if you would like to bet on whether we will see all 3 Triforce pieces on the restream, that bet is open, so...
Never mind. Okay, well, forget everything I said. Okay, well, this was kind of expected.
This is actually kind of hilarious, because we have Scale that is now locking Kokiri Sword and Bomb Bag and Magic, and I'm sure Jax was just like, oh, it's Kokiri Sword, and Kokiri Sword's going to lock the Bomb Bag, but then the Bomb Bag's also there, so which item is actually the path item? That's a great question.
Interesting thing to mention here is that Death Mountain Trail is a pretty important location in this scene from what we've seen from the hints, and Bomb Bag locks most of the things in there, except one.
Yeah, well, Big Goron as well could potentially be there, but yes, you are right. The Bomb Bag definitely is going to unlock a lot of stuff there. And with the Bomb Bag and Kokiri Sword, that is actually 2 routes to Ganon's castle that have opened up. Our runners can go to the Deku Tree and finish 1 dungeon, or they can go to Dongo's Cavern and finish another dungeon, and they will be able to get that bridge unlocked to be able to chase whatever the logically required item is in Ganon's castle. Yeah, good.
What I think is interesting to see is kind of wide open right now. Like, there's a lot of places people could go to. Like, that hint that seemed so useful, the scale leads to the hookshot, but we now have 3 items behind that scale. So, your guess is as good as mine as where we're going to go next. And even, like, as far as the path location, as far as the main goes, that's useless too now. We also have 2 items there. So, Bombak is probably what they're looking for, but that sword could still very well be a very important item.
Yeah, and there's a lot of possibilities, because if there's another Bomb Bag that shows up in Deku Tree, then that would actually confirm that Kokiri Sword is probably the path item. So already situation's getting a little bit complicated, and our runners are going to have to deal with thinking about multiple possibilities of what is the real truth. Is it the Kokiri Sword? Is it the bomb bag? And how they try to manage the risk of those two separate possibilities is going to influence a lot of their decision making for the next probably 20 minutes or so. So another thing that's good to do in seeds like this is counting. So again, returning to our path counts, those are the numbers in the center of our screen, 8, 8, and 4. We can eliminate locations that cannot have Triforce pieces now that we know how many logical items are required to get to certain places. Mm-hmm. So our bomb bag is locked behind one item. That would be the scale. And so anything that the bomb locks is a maximum of 2. And so that
I think you mean, right?
Yeah, so that means that Dodongo's Cavern is not going to have any Triforce pieces today because all the checks in Dodongo's Cavern are a maximum of 2. And we know that the shortest one is 4, so that's just not enough. Same with Deku Tree, unless it's on Goma somehow, where Kokiri Sword is also locked behind Scale, so that's the second item. And we also have some interesting hints coming in. We saw Krez go to the back of the lake. That is something that you can do in Triforce Blitz to really prioritize that information, and picking up some very useful information, because I believe that was Lon Lon as path, and I also think that Requiem was in Lon Lon, if I recall correctly.
I'm pretty sure it was, yeah. Wait, Requiem? No, that was Child Zarya's song. Wasn't it?
Oh, it was Nocturne in Lon Lon Ranch.
Ah, yuck. What did we talk about at the start of the seed? We would see some Shadow Temple hints.
Yes, and that was also there's another piece of information there. I think it was Fire Temple was also on there. So starting to get some spicy hints now. Our seed might be taking us to Fire Temple, and Lost Woods now also showing up his path.
Yes, we're right there. That was closest to Path to Wisdom, wasn't it? Did I get right? It went really fast.
Yeah, so Colossus for Wisdom, Fire for Wisdom.
Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Whoops.
Okay, so it could be Song of Time. I think Krez is making the wise move, and pressing the pause button on that one is going to check the fairy.
I will double check. I would do a double take on that one. I would not accept that answer.
That's a very interesting one, because if Song of Time ends up being the logically required item, that narrows down the candidates for locations substantially. Yeah, Song of Time cannot point to a lot of places, and so if that ends up being the answer, Krez is probably going to want to chase that pretty aggressively to try and figure out what the Song of Time is locking that is ultimately required.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that could also be it.
Yes, that could be it. So a lot of ambiguity now. This seed is putting a lot of path items in ambiguous places. This is going to get really tricky really fast, because you kind of want to chase Song of Time, but you kind of also want to chase Ruto's Letter.
Yeah.
And if you want to chase Ruto's Letter, the obvious place to chase that would be Ice Cavern, and you have no other bottle. So do you go back to Domain to turn in that letter just to free up a bottle, without really knowing whether Ice could genuinely be required?
Yeah, I feel like I should probably point out at this point that I've enabled the Season 1 generator for Season 2.
Well,
I'm just kidding, but it would explain a lot of things right now.
It's the trolling is intensifying, but yeah, we got a big chest in Deku Tree here.
What could it be? That's not a hook shot. That's a bracelet.
Okay, so we had a Ruto's Unlocks Hammer hint. So I think that pretty much confirms that that Rudos is the path item in Colossus and not Song of Time. And that also would indicate that they probably need that hammer for whatever is hiding from us in Fire Temple. So, let's see what Krez does here. Krez also has the option to go into Deku Tree here.
Jack's killing me right now. I was really hoping to just see a ground jump with the bomb, but then we also forget flame storage. This is a disaster. I feel for Jack. I've been here. I've done this.
You know, it's a qualifier race. It's like the first tournament race of the year. I think there's some execution spaghetti going on. That's always going to be the case when you're kind of getting back into kind of the more important races, and you're on restream, so you know a lot of people are watching you. That's just kind of par for the course, I think, being someone who plays competitive rando.
Yeah. And it's only a seeding race. There's no disqualifying today.
Yeah, no eliminations happening as part of this. This is purely used to draw the groups without having groups be like totally blind. So even if the runners totally have a disaster in this race, they're not going to get like eliminated from the tournament. The worst thing that they could have happen is to have like a more difficult group. But other than that, kind of low stakes. But I mean, any race where you got 40, 50 people in, counting the asyncers, is pretty fun.
Yeah. Also, you know, if you're gonna make mistakes, this would be the race to do it in. Now you can get it out of your system. Like, soon it will be for realsies. Then you don't have that opportunity anymore.
Looks like Jax is gonna be finishing up Deku Tree here, and the question now is, are we headed to Lon Lon, or is Jax going to go straight back to Adult? Now, Jax does have the Lost Woods for power information, so with the bomb bag, going through Lost Woods again might be a good idea, just to see if...
Jax already went through Lost Woods with the bomb bag, so...
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, they did. At least, I'm pretty sure they did. I'm looking at chat right now. I'm pretty sure they did. But I've been out of the business for a while, so I might just be hallucinating like I'm ChatGPT. Just making up information on the spot.
I'm not sure. So a lot of runners like to skip Ocarina minigame, and I can't imagine why. But yeah, it's never happened before in important races where items ended up being there. But nonetheless, identity is redacted to protect the guilty. But seems like Jax has some business in Lost Woods, so let's see what happens here.
Wait, yeah, is that true? Did you do the mini game on an SGL? Like, okay.
At the SGL showcase, I did complete Ocarina minigame.
Why would you do that to the audience? Why?
There's so much I could say to that, but I think the less said, the better.
I want to go deeper, but you know what? I'll respect it.
If you want to know what happened at the SGL showcase, I'm pretty sure that VOD is out there somewhere.
Don't do it, chat. Don't torture yourself watching that.
It showcased something. So it looks like Jax had not done Lost Woods yet, so probably to see all the checks here. And I don't know if Krez ended up doing Ocarina minigame either, but certainly with Lost Woods being path, you're kind of obligated just to check everything, so it is what it is.
Nice clean Goma kill there by Crest. Just goes down without any issue at all. It's not the trickiest thing in the world, but it's trickier than it looks. Like, you have to time your strikes pretty well.
Yeah, it's one of those things. That's like one of the first tricks you end up learning if you start doing rando. Is just getting through Deku Tree clean, doing like B1 skip, and kind of getting introduced to crouch stabs and all that. So
Yeah, I think it's interesting in a sense that Decatry, which is also the proverbial tutorial dungeon of the game, also ends up being the tutorial dungeon for Ocarina of Time randomizer tricks.
I do feel like B1 skip without bombs is actually
It's really
one of the
rough.
hardest tricks in the entire like legal rule set, and it's
Yeah,
so
well-
funny. Like that's like the
Because it's
The
so
trial.
useful. Yeah, but it's so useful. Like you save so much time with it if you need it.
all right. So we got a big chest in Lost Woods coming up here. Is this our hook shot? It is
It
our
is.
hook shot.
Hey, where was that? Oh, it was just an abominable rock.
Yeah. So I'm thinking we probably have the bomb bag in domain being the path item,
think
leading
so.
to that hook shot. I think that's probably the answer.
Yeah, but the sword didn't really uncover that much. Like, yeah, a bracelet, but at this point, I wouldn't hedge my bets on a bracelet. I really appreciate Press for just having the vanilla music playing in the game. It always throws me off when the music plays for a different zone when they're in a certain zone.
There are some runners who have very interesting sounds.
Yes.
You can put a lot of sounds on Epona's hooves that are
Should not be
concerning.
putting on that, yeah. I once heard someone put like a sound Salamace, like when she's kind of distraught, like during the Ganon fight, like kind of like a gasp of like shock, basically, on the hooves. So it just sounds like Epona's trampling someone. It's really weird. Can't recommend it, but you know, it is the memer way, I suppose. Nothing on Dancing Dad, unfortunately.
Yeah, Jax is being very thorough in this child section. I almost think that this might be the time for Jax to start playing a little bit more aggressively. There's nothing really pointing to Goron City right now, and I think really what Krez has done to get a leg up is commit to those back of lake hints early. That gave the Desert Colossus, or it got the Requiem path, I believe. No, it wasn't Requiem, it was Nocturne path. I don't even know what I'm saying. Anyway, Lon was path, and that was important information, and ultimately that led to the Colossus path in Colossus, leading to that Rudo's letter, and I just think like that information ends up being super, super important, because now Krez knows, okay, like I need to prioritize, well, now he no longer needs to actually turn in Rudo's letter, finding that bottle, but probably going to be prioritizing the checks behind Rudo's letter. And without that information, Jax is a little bit lost now, unless some nice information shows up here in the maze.
Temple Time, Path to Power. I mean, that's not a terrible hint.
That is a terrible hint, because that means that Shadow Temple is required.
I mean, it's terrible in that sense, but it's still good to know.
Yeah, so that explains why Nocturne's path, and I'm actually starting to think that these eight Triforce pieces might be in different places.
Yeah, I don't think they're overlapping that much at all. To a degree, yes, but I mean, there's a hook shot somewhere, like in bomb, so that part is always going to overlap pretty heavily, because the hook shot and the bomb bag are just such quintessential items in this game. I mean, really, you didn't need a hint to know that you have to go to Shadow Temple. That is obvious. It's Triforce Blitz. The only valuable hint when it comes to Shadow Temple is when it's foolish, because then you know not to go there. Alright, we're up in the trail, and there is a big chest right there. It's a slingshot. Okay. Something is path on this mountain, Ela.
That is not the most convincing item to find. I think Jax
It really
keep looking.
isn't. Yeah, I think so too. But imagine if it was though, wouldn't that be funny? Oh,
Aha.
never mind. Never mind then. It's
I think we found
Shadow
it.
Temple. Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. So did someone order a Shadow Temple? Because you know, we might be going there at some point.
Yeah, so this seed, I mean, there's a world where this seed can be pretty straightforward, right? Like if we have hovers and Fire Temple, and then there's some speculation that maybe storms could be on Prelude. Like, I mean, that could kind of be everything we need for the 8s if they are in the same place. And then we just got to deal with that 4. That 4 is definitely a little bit more ambiguous, but I can think of a few places where it could be.
Right, me too. Forest Temple comes to mind a lot.
Yeah, I'd say Forest Temple's at the, probably near the top of the list, but Forest Temple could potentially be trolly as well because we have no bow. And so if we need a bow, they could just be anywhere. So that could trip us up. And, there could be like a stray path hint out there somewhere that locks kind of a surprise 4th item that isn't Sario's song to take us in a different direction. So,
yeah,
kind of hard to say.
Oh, yeah, for those who are new to Triforce Blitz, that's something you might want to know. You only need 3 chickens to get the cuckoo item as a child here. So you still need to put some in, but I mean, they're right there. Someone in chat is asking for it to become 1 chicken, but at that point, it shouldn't just be 0.
So I forgot that Krez did not actually read the pedestal at the beginning, so checking that out, getting the bad news that Shadow is Forest Medallion probably clarifies a lot of the hints that he's run into so far. And this is going to be a Ganon's check, because we have a path item here in Ganon's that we don't know about. And yeah, kind of wondering what could end up in Fire Temple, considering, like, we only really need the hovers. Unless, God forbid, somehow there's like a Jabu path. I don't know. I'm curious what this Ruda's letter is for. That's what I'm unclear about.
Yeah, it could just be a troll letter as well. It could conceivably still be Song of Time, even though I do not want to think of it, but it is still possible.
It's actually not possible.
It's not possible?
Yeah, because we have the unlock hint, and the unlock hint was Rudo's for Hammer. And so because of that, Rudo's is hard confirmed as being a path item. So, unless Colossus was somehow double. We do know it's Rudo's, and we do know that Rudo's locks the hammer. So, kind of wondering if like it could be like a stray boomerang or something that shows up. But you'd think that there's got to be some kind of path pointing to some area that is Rudo's locked, like either Fountain or Jabu or Ice, and we just haven't found that hint yet.
Yeah, of course, I knew that. I was only saying that, like, to represent the people in chat who didn't figure it out, obviously.
No, it's I appreciate you taking one for the team. It's a valuable job of the co-commentator.
Yeah. Oh, look at that, a big chest. Ah, choose. So now kind of comes the point in the seed where we have a lot of information, but we don't have the answers, and we're just kind of waiting for the runners to start looking into these answers that we need.
Yeah, you'll notice that the runners have a lot of places that they want to go in this seed, that they have access to. So, obviously, the runners want to go to Ganon's, and Krez is in Ganon's. Jack's going to be in Ganon's shortly. And then the runners probably have a good idea that Shadow Temple might be required. Krez has the confirmed information because of that Nocturne hint, but Jax, seeing Din's Fire in a path location, probably is not going to be shocked when Shadow turns out to be required either. And then I believe both runners have the Rudo's information. So knowing that Rudo's is going to be required for something. Oh, and there's hovers.
There's hovers. Yeah, in many ways, you can kind of divide Triforce Blitz up into 2. Well, more like 3, but the first stage is definitely the information phase, and we kind of are getting out of that now. So people have the information, and now they're gonna formulate a plan and execute it, hopefully. that plan is correct, and they will find themselves the right answer. I think you could argue there's like a third like reassessment phase, like where you get new information, you kind of have to adjust your plans based on that.
Yeah, so this is a tricky situation because we have everything that we need to do Shadow Temple.
Yeah.
But there is the potential for silliness.
Yeah.
Okay. Because so we're pretty sure we need to beat Bongo, right? We got Temple of Time, and so Temple of Time's locked behind Bongo. And in practice, we have all the items that we need to go beat Bongo.
We do.
But logically, we don't. Because right now, we do not logically have a way to drop the statue that makes the bridge at the end of there. So, there could be a bow or a long shot that could be a kind of a misleading path that could be logically required for Shadow, but not actually required, as long as our runners know the bomb shoe strats to get across that chasm. And I believe both runners do have the bomb shoes, so that would be an option. So, again, this is a potential opportunity maybe to skip the Rudo's letter information, because what if it's like Rudo's for hammer for a bow? Yeah. That is totally unnecessary, and all that could be skippable if the runners are thinking on their toes.
Well, I'm not a runner, but if I were, I would definitely be heading to Shadow Temple right about now. Information that's available to us. It's not that Ice Cavern is like a terrible play per se, but like it's so slow. Like you have to move all the way over to a different spot, and then you have to go up there, and it's not nice. Shadow Temple, you just play a song, you're in there.
Yeah, and so Krez about to get Dins, and so this is, I think, this is the moment of truth. I think Krez will probably go to Shadow. There's kind of no reason not to. I don't know if... I don't think Krez has the Temple of Time hint, but with Dins and Hovers and Nocturne Path, you put your thinking cap on. It doesn't take a lot of brain power to figure out that Shadow Temple is the place to go.
Yep. What if that fairy slingshot locked a bow on the target in the woods? Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah, that would be funny. Although I think we had another path item in Lost Woods that seemed pretty likely.
Yeah, of course. But it would just be so trolly because it would be unhinted, which is unlikely to happen in the sea. But it could. If the paths are not like overlapping very much, then I think it's technically possible.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that the paths might not actually diverge. I thought that for a little bit because it seemed like the information wasn't coming together. But now I'm thinking that this Rudo's could just it could be Rudo's for like a totally separate like path. But there is that possibility that it's just kind of bait, and so we're probably not going to know until we see a visit to Shadow Temple.
I think what's interesting is that Krez hasn't just veered off straight to Shadow Temple. We got the Inspire, but we're still dwelling on the Blitz. Makes you wonder what he's thinking. If only we could ask him right now, but we can't.
So I'm thinking that Krez is going to end up in Fountain going to Ice. He set up that blue fire bottle in Ganon, so this was always the idea. And I don't know if he's going to...
Safe play, I would say, this is what this is.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this.
And Jackson's right behind, actually.
Yeah, so Jack's going to be maybe a little bit ahead because Jax has already been to Adult SFM. Krez could also be taking a dip into Forest Temple looking for courage, by the way.
Could definitely be... Or it could be both. I mean, first go to Forest Temple, like dip into that a bit, and then straight off to Ice Cavern. Or maybe not if you find some interesting information, like James's mind.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about when there's just a lot of places that everybody wants to go. Krez probably wants to go to Ice Cavern, probably wants to go to Shadow, probably wants to go to Forest. And so doing all these things in the right order and trying to minimize your risk going to all the places you need to go, as well as routing them in a efficient fashion. It's a big part of what makes Blitz fun and what makes Blitz challenging.
Yeah, because not only is Blitz a puzzle game, but because time is so limited in Triforce Blitz, it's as fast as the first finisher, right? Basically, or 2 hours. Since you only have such a limited amount of time, the amount of time you take to get to places, every minute shaved off is a very important minute. It also is an Ocarina of Time randomizer, but here, because time is such a short, resource, every minute you have counts a little bit more.
Yeah, and so Jax is really taking advantage of the logic skips because Jax does not have Ruto's letter, but Jax does have the knowledge that Ruto's letter leads to Hammer. And so actually, unless Ruto's letter is leading to Jabu or something, Jax doesn't actually need Ruto's letter. Jax can just go straight over KZ here and kind of chase what's behind here. So that's one of those ways that you can skip logic. You don't really need to care about where Ruto's letter is, as long as you know that it's required. You can get to where you need to go and maybe bypass the time that it would take to actually track down the location.
I love this skip, by the way. I just think this is such a cool. When it works out, it's not easy. It takes a couple tries sometimes.
If you want a slightly easier version of this trick, there's some guy on YouTube that has a nice tutorial video for how to do this.
Would this guy's name potentially start with an E and end in Lagatua?
Yeah, it rhymes with Balagatua.
I see. I wonder who that could be.
So anyway, that's our second magic in Forest. So that's going to confirm that magic is not a path item for Shadow. Not much of a surprise, but he could certainly be getting either of those magics. And
imagine if the Song of Time is for this.
Surely not. Surely not.
Wouldn't that be funny though?
You're like the meme guy with all the newspaper articles on the wall and the string kind of connecting them.
Yeah.
It could be this. It could be this.
It all leads to Song of Time. Just all these threads leading to that one thing.
You heard it here for Song of Time confirmed path because Spell wants it really bad.
I think there's worse reasons for it to be path than that.
All right, so we're gonna get some more Ruto's checks from Jax here. Not gonna be able to check underneath the ice, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And obviously, if this turns out to be nothing, then ice will be coming afterwards, I imagine.
Yeah, Jackson having gone to Long Long Ranch, even though they know that it is indeed path, is an interesting play. I'm sure you could make an argument for it, but I would love to ask Jax himself later after this race.
I think Jax knows now that it's path, but they didn't know before.
I think they had the hint. I had it before.
I'm sure Jax can figure out what is there, seeing that, again, Hovers is probably path, Dins is probably path. Oh, there's a path location in a song area. And Krez, seeing a big chest there, I was about to say that could be a Triforce piece, but nope, it's just some bomb shoes, so no Triforce pieces showing up in Forest yet.
I'm still believing in the meme.
So it could be that trolley bow that is going to be locking us out of here, but we got a few checks left. In Triforce Blitz, the dungeon shortcuts are enabled for Forest Temple and Jabu's Belly. Jabu tends not to be relevant too much, but Forest is very relevant. And so what this means is that Krez can just go straight down and fight Phantom Ganon for an additional 2 checks here. So there still could yet be a Triforce piece that is not bow locked in Forest Temple. And there's another big chest, so will it be here? Are we going to see our first Triforce piece in the next 10 seconds?
No, it's a bow locked by nothing.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
But
So that's that's Triforce Blitz in a nutshell. You get really excited thinking, oh man, I made the right play. I went to the place of the Triforce piece, and it's big chest bait item.
Yeah.
Although, actually, that's pretty timely, because you're about to fight Phantom Ganon, but it's not a Triforce piece.
Nope. You think you're a 300 IQ mastermind, and then that happens. It's very unfortunate, but that's Triforce Blitz.
So we got Phantom Ganon and Jax doing nice Keys dodge, running around the blue fire there. Respect that. And yeah, just kind of awaiting the next big item to show up. Something's got to show up pretty soon. You would imagine that something was going to be in here in Ice Cavern somewhere, and well, after Force, Krez is probably going to be following right on Jax's heels.
Yep. You would assume as much, at least. Can I just say that this is probably one of the coolest boss fights they ever made in a game from this era? It's so good.
Alright, that looks like a big chest in ice.
Yep.
So this could definitely be a hammer.
Oh, I hate doing this with the big long sword. It's a blessing and a curse. It's mostly a curse right now. Oh, look
okay,
at
that
hammer.
is the hammer. So, the question now is, does Jax continue on? You could be justified in leaving, I think, at this point. But looks like Jax is just going to finish up Ice, electing to play it safe. Dude, Krez is getting bodied by Phantom Ganon. Like, I can't believe how many times.
Just the sword, please. I can't watch this. Oh, I've done this too. I sat there once with a big golden sword. I just kept asking, why is it not working? Oh my.
I'm like hurting PTSD. A little bit.
This is PTSD. This is what happened to me exactly.
Did you know that this only happens when you're on restream?
Yeah, it's true.
Oh no!
Oh no! I would give up on this by now, honestly. I'd be like, yeah, whatever.
No, he's got to go back. I mean, it's not the end of the world because you can just run on back down there very quickly. But it's just one of those things when you're on restream and like, oh man, a lot of people just watch me mess this up. Like, it's very important just to maintain your composure and just kind of
your sanity.
Yeah, it's like, well, that's like a minute and a half down the drain, but ultimately, like, this is not going to destroy my run. But if I get tilted and I like leave, and then the piece ends up being on Phantom Ganon, then like that could destroy my run. So just
yeah, or
having some perspective.
Or even worse, if you just you get demoralized because of this, and it just throws up your entire play for the rest of the feed. That's the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah, so I'm just really glad that Krez is electing to go back and just making sure that the Phantom Ganon dies. You just don't want to get tilted and have some place where you want it to go get skipped and then it basically destroys your run. That would suck.
Yeah. We are off to the last check of Ice Cavern. Honestly, I think there's a really good argument to be made for just not doing this, but Jax is trusting on their gut instinct, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, for all Jax knows, like, there could be maybe Nocturne here or Storms or something like that. Kind of unlikely, and even Prelude could potentially be useful for routing purposes. So, again, it's like, how risky do you want to play? How aggressive do you want to play? How confident are you in your reads about where the Triforce pieces are? And it looks like a small chest, but there will be a song here as well.
Oh, yes, he got it. Also, I just wanted to highlight Krez did something I didn't even know was possible, which is to dodge the lightning being hit by the floor.
Yeah, and that's Minuet in Ice as well. So that's a nice song to pick up because now I think Jax gets some good routing to go to Force Temple without having to run through SFM.
Yeah. Oh, look, a golden scale.
That is probably not what Krez was looking for, although that is definitely scale locked by the first scale, so it does seem likely that it's a scale for bombs for Hook.
Yeah,
for
sure. Also, it's golden and it's kind of triangle shaped, so it's a consolation prize.
So chat pointing out something really intelligent here. I believe that Minuet is not Saria's locked. And if that's correct, then I believe that kills the possibility of Forest Temple having a piece. So this might be actually backfiring on Krez a little bit, going to Forest instead of Ice first. Because if Krez had gone Ice first, he might have been able to do the counting to know for sure that that Forest wouldn't have been possible. So again, sometimes it's these little things that turn out to be like 5 minutes here, 6 minutes here. They really end up making a difference, and it's the decision making can get very complicated in the prioritization as well.
I'm glad that Jax is in Fire Temple and not in Forest Temple right now. I really am.
So let's see. We've got something here is bow locked that we need, and let's see how deep it is. It could be trolling us for sure.
Oh yeah. In fact, I would bet on it being
Yeah, that one wasn't that close. I think it would have been better for Krez to just bottle a fairy and save quit there. You got 4 hearts, so if you end up needing to climb fire, then you're going to need that fairy in a bottle anyway. And well, I guess Krez doesn't have the hammer. I forgot about that. So
yeah,
I think just looking to see how hammer locked he is. Although he should know that the hammer's path, so it's really hard to be able to bypass a logically required hammer in Fire Temple, because there's just not a whole lot you can do out of logic. Really, the only possible thing would be if the lower maze is... If one of the chests is big, you can use hover boots to get up to the 2nd level and bypass some stuff that way. But, yeah, big chest showing up hammerlocked on Jax's side, so this might be it.
No, I don't think that's it.
This seed is a big troll.
It really is. On a very completely different, unrelated note, isn't it kind of interesting how the Master Sword is so that it can seal evil and does certain, like, multiple damage against certain enemies, like Ganon and these little fire dudes that walk around? Oh, look. Mirror shield.
Wow. Well, this is fun times in Fire Temple. Boy, it feels terrifying to get a lot of bait items like this in Fire, because Irons is probably bait. Mirror is probably bait.
Probably.
Probably. Ugh.
But not conclusively, and that's the issue.
It makes you worried, because you want to keep going in Fire, but you kind of don't want to keep going in Fire.
Hey, Ida, do you remember when I said at the start to see that it's very likely that we'll see these Triforce pieces on race stream? I'm not so sure anymore.
The doubt is starting to creep in, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Anyway, here we go. It's Volvagia. Well, one of my favorite bosses, at least aesthetically. I just love how she looks. Like the whole fight. It's a boring fight, but the concept is so cool.
I'm worried for Jax, because I believe Jax only has 4 hearts, and this is a very tricky kill with 4 hearts.
Yeah, it's doable, but
it's really hard.
Yeah.
I wouldn't try this.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, but you know what? I believe in Jax. Oh no, we're being trolled.
This is
Not only is the
danger.
seed trolling us, Volvagia is trolling us as well now.
This is not enough time. Unless,
yeah.
maybe Jax has a fairy, but yeah, this is a death.
Yeah, they have a fairy.
Oh, okay, they got a fairy. No problem then. No, I take it all back.
Well, that's still debatable. But...
Oh, but no. Oh no!
Oh, that is highly unlucky.
So, unfortunately, just a little bit of execution errors by Jax, getting hit by Volv, and that took off 3 of the 4 parts, and then stepping in the lava to drop the last bomb actually triggered that fairy early before the timer ran out, and then Jax didn't have quite enough time to deliver the killing blow. It was literally 1 second away.
Yeah,
and if Jax had landed that killing blow on Volv, even if they died afterwards, they could just go straight back to the boss and not have to refight it. So it's just it's a tough break, and sometimes in Triforce Blitz, like you're trying to go so fast and you don't really open a lot of chests that you get forced into these kind of high pressure execution situations more than you would normally.
Yeah.
And this is up there with some of the more difficult ones to deal with.
Yeah, and that was a valiant effort as well. Like we were, bone-wise, I believe we were pretty much right on track. We were literally like just sniping and getting low. Well, you know, that makes 2 bosses that kind of went already on the restream. So, you know, if only they knew that about each other, I'm sure they might feel a bit better about it. A bit better about it, even. So.
Oh, I mean, there's no shame in having some spaghetti on the bosses. Like,
absolutely not.
I've died to Volve in similar situations more times than I'm proud to admit.
Oh god, not again?
Oh,
really?
No, this is scary. Oh, okay, that was. Fortunately, Jax did not take the body blow, and so now, as long as everything else is clean, it's probably okay now. The bad thing would be taking the 3 hits from the body. Oh god, no. Okay, this should be okay. It should be okay.
Yeah, but this is still. This is nerve-wracking to watch.
This is very scuffed. Jax is sweating bullets right now.
Oh!
Okay, alright, we're good. We're in there.
Beautiful, beautiful. That is great. I'm glad we got that on restream. That is the full Vache kill for the ages, I think.
Did you know that Volve troll holes you 100% of the time when you're in restream?
True!
It's not even RNG, like the game knows.
No, yeah. What RNG? She came out of the same hole every single time on restream.
So troll hole is kind of something you can deal with, but you have to be
fast.
You have to kind of practice for it specifically to be able to play around it, and especially if you're not like really clean on everything, it's something that can just make your life miserable.
Ouch. Cress heading into the ice cavern to find himself a hammer. I would say Jack's looking pretty good now.
Well, the problem is, what do you do with this fire temple? So you just got to key on Volve, so potentially, I mean, that's probably... Oh, what the heck?
What? You thought it was a song, huh? It wasn't. It was a bow.
What is happening?
You know what? Sometimes I'm speechless. I'm just speechless, and this is one of those moments.
I have so many questions. All right, so Jax is going to Long. So
Yeah.
that much makes sense. Probably going to pick up Nocturne and end up in Shadow. That I still think that bow is for it's not for the bow. I still think it's for the song. But that is a funny place for a bow to show up.
I'm not so sure anymore now. If that's the first logical bow, that would be hilarious.
The only reason I'm saying that is because Temple of Time is on the path to power. And all the other hints that are on the path to power are the hints leading to Shadow Temple.
Oh, so the bow could be necessary to get access to Bongo, right?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but then Fire Temple's path for something on Wisdom. So, like, it would just be really trolly.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, but
it could be.
The bow is could also be necessary for Fire Temple.
I've got a lot of questions. There's like, I think we're up to like 8 possibilities of like what could be path and the exact like overlap. Power and Wisdom, at the very least, seem to have some extremely complicated overlap. Because the hovers could be for both, but for different reasons, and the hammer now could be for both for different reasons. It's very complicated.
Yeah, it definitely is. This is a weird seed. What a great seed. You know what? I think this is now part of the tradition. The seeds and qualifiers just have to be just wacky seeds, I think. That just has to be it.
I mean, it certainly gives us a lot to talk about in the commentary booth. I
That's
just can't
true.
believe it. Like, so let me walk. If you're kind of new to Triforce Blitz, let me walk you through some of the possibilities and why we know nothing. Okay, so hovers obviously for Shadow Temple. That makes a lot of sense. We're pretty sure of that. But hovers now also could be required for Fire Temple because logically you need to get the hovers to get to Volve now for a key. Because that could key lock the rest of Fire Temple. So two totally different reasons why Hammer could be necessary. Also, now Hammer could be necessary for a bow, and that bow could be necessary to beat Shadow Temple, because we have no other way to drop the bridge at the end of Shadow Temple. So Hammer could be necessary for Shadow Temple, just on its own merits. There's a path item in Fire that so far is either Iron Boots or Mirror, but it could also be something deeper in Fire Temple. So that's just a wild card that we haven't thought about yet. But I mean, it could still maybe be like it could be Mirror or Irons, maybe. It's kind of hard to imagine, but it's not impossible. So there's just like so many possibilities, and it's a lot to keep track of.
I mean, you kind of love to see it though. For Qualifier, it's probably pretty good at giving a good distribution of like skill levels though. Because if you can figure this out, you're probably in the top percentage of Blitz players, I would say.
Yeah, or you just like Pepega straight to the Triforce pieces by going to the wrong places.
Just find the items, yeah. Just get the pieces, easy.
I kind of feel like we're going to see Power and Wisdom before we see Courage this seed.
Yeah. Oh! I hate Ice Key so much. Filthy creatures. Oh, is this?
Oh god.
Yeah, that looked a bit dicey, but we got it. Oh, Crest got it. We didn't do anything. It's all Crest. Oh my god, Crest, please.
I'm so scared that he's gonna get hit by one of these pots and die before he picks up the heart.
Oh no, Bull! Oh, he didn't even pick up the heart!
Okay, that's fine, it's fine. Deku Nuts. Oh my god, I'm so scared.
I've never been so tense for Ice Cavern before.
Alright, so Jack's gonna be our first runner on Restream to enter into Shadow Temple. This probably is gonna be an auto-scroller on the right side of our screens for the next 15 minutes. Kind of unfortunate, but sometimes Shadow is Force Medallion, and you just live with it.
I really hope for Crest's sake that... Oh no!
That's a free heart refill is what that is.
Yeah, exactly. I hope for Crest's sake that his little venture into with just going to be better than his venture with Phantom Cannon.
Well, we'll see. I mean, he's got the bottle out, so hopefully he will pick up a fairy and we'll have a clean kill. But I guess we're going to do the other Hammerlock checks first and inflict some psychic damage on him as well.
Doing evasions first is great because there's a lot of keys you can kill, and who doesn't like killing keys? It's a great way to restore your sanity.
And your health meter.
That too. But mostly your sanity meter.
Krez with the patented Elagatua strat for killing the keys.
Just whack them.
Swinging your sword while failing to do the spin. That's
just flail
made
around.
after my own heart there.
That's my strategy too. I've worked very hard on this Bison that one. Do not steal, please. So why is it that specifically these weird little dancer creatures are like hit by the massive sword? There's only two evil creatures appearing in this game: these guys and Ganon. And Ganon I can understand, but these guys? Does anyone have the lore on this? Like, what's going on here?
I mean, they are pretty evil. Like, just listen to their sound effect.
I mean, yes, fair. That's a good argument.
Yeah, see, Neil knows what's up. Neil knows what's up.
God, imagine if one day we get bored Triforce Blitz to the decompo, and we could just like start adding really arcane rules into the game, like stuff that just makes no sense.
So we had a question in chat about changes to the rules for Season 2. There's a lot of new stuff in Season 2, but it's mostly related to the hints. The core rules are basically the same. 3 Triforce pieces, 2 hours, get them as fast as you can. So if you've seen any Season 1 seeds, you'll pick up the new stuff pretty quick. It's basically just hints.
I just had a horrible idea for Season 3. I know it's a bit early to talk about Season 3, but hear me out. Season 3 will be decompo only, and instead of giving you hints, instead when you talk to a gossip stone, you can enter a ChatGPT prompt to get some information about the seed. What do you think?
Yeah, you were right. This is a horrible idea. I actually have like a concept for. I don't know if it'd be a Season 3, but at least something fun. But that, you know, we got this wonderful tournament that we get to play through before we think about any stuff for the future.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, so Krez, doing both with choose. Maybe he's going for a quick kill. This is hard, and I don't even bother attempting this because I am scared.
The chews are going really well, to be fair.
I don't know if this is enough, but we'll see.
I don't think so. As soon as I said it, yeah, that's what I was afraid of. And now time is running out.
Well, he didn't get the fairy. Oh no, that's really aggressive. I think to not pick up a fairy in that situation.
That is extremely aggressive. I like it. Chris is my kind of player. He's out of here. Oh dear. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, if it's just for a bow, for access to Bongo, this is the right play.
So this is, I'm a little bit nervous for Krez because we talked earlier about, you know, getting tilted and making decisions based on that. Yeah. I'm a little worried that this is what this is.
Yeah, me too.
I just really hope that Krez knows the bomb shoe strat to drop the pillar.
I'm certain he does. If I know the bomb shoe strat, and I barely run at all, then I'm sure Krez knows it. A player who has practiced a lot of Triforce Blitz.
Because I think that Krez might be thinking the same thing that we were thinking about the bow, and thinking like, okay, there's a bow somewhere deep in Fire Temple. I probably just need Song of Storms on Prelude for 2 pieces in Bottom of the Well. I better just give up on this and to make sure that I get the piece that I like know where it is first, which is pretty understandable. So I don't hate the shadow play here, but given what we know some things that Krez doesn't know. It's probably going to lead to at least 1 piece, but might not lead to 2.
Yeah. Might. I just feel like it's just 2 pieces in Shadow Temple right now. I feel like we would have had a finisher, surely, right?
Well, there's not going to be 2 pieces in Shadow Temple. There could potentially be 2 pieces behind Shadow Temple and Bottom of the Well.
Yeah, that's fair. That's kind of what I meant. Like, I feel like we would have had a finisher by now.
Yeah, it's possible, but I mean, I would have really been thrown off by this seed if I had been playing it too, because you can see what it's been doing to my theorizing, and I think I probably would have been baited into Forest as well. So, still got 42 minutes left. It's a lot of time. It gets exciting near the end, so hang with us.
Yeah. I just want to know, and no spoilers please, but is there anyone in chat who has finished the scene and just grinning with glee right now, knowing what kind of insanity is going to unfold in this scene?
Yeah, just say whether you're grinning with glee. Don't say whether you're finished.
Yeah,
I'm trying to keep like totally blind on spoilers here.
Yeah, just say if you're grinning with glee, nothing else. But I do want to know if anyone here is just having incredible schadenfreude right now. No one replying? Oh wait, hold on. 30-second delays in there. Eli, I have a question for you. Do you know what the wisdom hints so far are?
Yeah, so according to the wonderful trackers that have been helping us out today, the wisdom hints are Desert Colossus, which is probably for Rudo's letter, and then also Fire Temple, which could be Iron Boots or Mirror Shield or third item Deeper in Fire.
Oh, that's true. There could be something else in Fire still. I had completely forgotten about that. Oh no, this seed sucks.
Isn't it great?
Well, that's my creation rod this time. That's crazy. I'm really glad that the website got its temper back for the Season 2 tournament. It's just great.
So we got a dual Shadow Temple, so we got a little bit of downtime. Maybe a few more minutes before we get to the pillar, and Jax, well, Jax has a bow, so not gonna have any trouble getting that pillar down. I think the real drama will be just Krez doing that trick. It's not a trick that you end up using very often, and so that's the only reason why I worry that he might not know it, because
well, I think Chris definitely knows of the existence of the trick. Whether he knows how to do it is a different question, but you're allowed to look it up, right? So. There's 2 bomb bags, by the way, in here. That's great.
So that is very much logically bomb-locked bomb bag, so not surprised to see the domain bomb bag end up being path. I think we kind of expected that.
Crash just found the logical fish. Thank God. God, imagine if that was possible. A sea where you have logical fish.
I mean, I had logical green potion bottle like 2 weeks ago, so yeah.
So, what are we going to fill this dead air with, Ila? There's nothing really to discuss on the seed right now.
I want to hear in the chat, what is the most insane TFBC that you have played? Or is like any memorable, like, path item combinations for locations that just stick out in your mind?
Yeah, and if you don't have any of those, then an alternative question you can answer for me is, what would you add to Season 3? And it can be as crazy as you want. Let's just hear your wackiest, dumbest ideas. I want to see how badly you guys could ruin this mode. This one says Zeffy. God, I can't read. I'm kidding.
So that's Zave.
Zave. Sorry. Zave lead. Hard required toilet every seed. That's a good way to kill the mode. Honestly, I'm really curious what you will eat, if you will do anything for Season 3 at all, because I'm kind of struggling to think of what would you add to this mode at this point. Like, changes, sure, but additions, I'm not really sure where you would even go. Then again, I thought the same thing in Season 1, and then you came up with unlock hints, so.
I've got a concept in mind, but I'm not gonna work on it till a little bit later.
Yeah, of course.
Stay tuned to the Season 2 finals in like 3 months, where you will hear all about the future of Blitz when we get there.
Oh yes. I think the weirdest TFB seed I've had was where a one path where the one was Saria song and the place was Shadow Trial 2. awful.
That is a long shot in Shadow Temple.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm pretty sure that means Eponas cannot be path for GTG, for what that's worth. I'm sure that has implications on stuff, but my brain is too fried to think about it.
If I were to add anything to Triforce this Season 3, it would be extra upgrades for the upgradable items. So Platinum Gauntlets, that kind of stuff. Longer shots, that kind of stuff. I'm not sure how that would matter at all, but I think it'd be a fun meme. Yeah, Boom and then into Dins. There's an interesting strat for the Floor Master, I will agree on that.
I think the craziest C that I can remember, and I don't actually remember exactly what it was. I feel like it was like the path was like Minuet Bolero, and like Bolero was the last item on the path, and it ended up being for Shadow Trial 1 because all hook shots and Song of Time were locked behind Bolero.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, it was something like that. I just remember like Bolero was like the last item, and it wasn't even for Fire Temple. It was just like that one melted my brain really hard. Okay, so almost done with the auto scroller, and Krez getting pretty close to the end where we see if he knows how to drop that pillar, but we're going to be seeing is it really Song of Storms on Prelude very, very soon, so hopefully this thing will start heating back up.
What if it's not? Like, what alternatives could happen? Like, yeah, I agree. Song of Storms on Prelude, most likely option. But what if it's not? What if it's something else? What could it even be?
I don't even. I mean, the other world is like it's a bow, right? For something, and that could be for like a lot of things. But it's hard to imagine like all the shadow stuff being path, and then it's just for the bow and not for the song. Like I can't even comprehend what that would be like.
That wouldn't even make sense, right? We already have a bow.
Well, but the bow was in Temple of Time. So something is path in Temple of Time, and if it's not the song, then it's got to be the bow. And everybody who's talking about path items in Shadow, just keep in mind that we do not have a Shadow path hint. And so if there was a path item that was path in Shadow, there would have to be a Shadow hint somewhere out there that we have not seen. And we have 9 hints out of the 10. So the odds that Shadow Temple path to something is that 10th hint are somewhat low. Not impossible. It's happened before, but kind of unlikely. So I'm not super sold on the long shot.
I remember the first time someone told me the scatters will just run to their own death here. That was just like one of those moments like, oh, so they do that. That's really funny.
Okay, that is Storms on Prelude, so this is going to be a quick trip to bottom of the well, and I have a feeling we're going to see at least one Triforce piece here. Might not be 2, but the drought is going to be over.
Thank God. Well, I mean, I don't really care. I'm here for the memes. I don't really, anything can happen, and I'll enjoy it. I'm curious. That long shot, by the way, that couldn't possibly be for something, could it? Is that still within counts? Like within the age?
I think it's really unlikely. Again, like I mentioned, if that long shot is required for something, then Shadow would have to be path, and there's only one missing path hint. So, seems unlikely, basically. If it was, we likely would have found a Shadow path hint somewhere in one of the other 9 hints that we got.
That's fair. But just saying there's a chance.
There is a chance. It's a 1 out of 10, roughly.
My apologies for the throat scraping today. I don't know.
It's spring allergies.
No,
And with that long shot, actually, sorry, Krez doesn't need the bow anymore, so kind of getting bailed out there. Doesn't need to worry about the bomb shoe strats with that free Scarecrow song that is new in Season 2.
Yeah, I love that change. That's great.
Alright, so on Jax's side, be on the lookout for big chests, because we're pretty sure there's a Triforce piece here, at least one.
Oh, there's one. Oh!
Hey, we're on the board!
It's the power piece. Well, we're leaving.
So I think Jax is very convinced that wisdom is not in bottom of the well, and I kind of believe it. Especially if irons or mirror is the item that was in Fire Temple. It probably makes sense to bail out of here.
Yeah, Fire Temple is still unresolved as of now, so yeah, I would agree actually. I would get out of here.
The question is what next, though? Because you have a lot of options, like maybe GTG, you could go back to Fire Temple very easily. Maybe you could think about Forest Temple somehow if you think it's like behind the bow. Like, the world is your oyster.
Yeah, that's the problem though. The world is your oyster. You can literally go anywhere, so...
And yes, Volv did have a key, so Hover's likely locking Deep Fire.
That isn't just likely, that's just confirmed at this point, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know if it's possible. I think there's like one extra key in Fire, so like depending on the layout, maybe Volv could have a key and you could still get it to the top, but I'm not completely sure.
Okay, I have to ask. They keep saying that Jax and something with DLC. What's DLC in relation to
that is a meme for the Iron Boots. The Iron Boots are DLC.
Chad, explain this meme to me. I don't understand. I'm out of date.
I believe it's because they're not very useful most of the time. Hey, look, in Desert Colossus, it's Desert Colossus Path.
Yeah, we knew that. Jax didn't, but they know now. Oh, thank you, Death Star. Now I get it. Okay. Yeah, that. Can we talk about the Path to Courage? By the way, what's going on with this stupid Triforce piece?
Yeah, it's just weird. I feel like maybe there's just courage hints in bad locations. Like maybe that 10th hint is the one for courage, and it's an item that's only on courage, because it just feels like we're missing some important information. We know it can't be Saria's, which is the starting song, so it's either one of the items that's on the other paths, or it is just that 10th hint. And it looks like Jax is going to go for GTG. So,
I actually like this play.
yeah. We might be in a situation where we need to find a second strength to get into Spirit Temple to take advantage of the mirror shield. So, and also, yeah, I mean, Toilet's there. Toilet's not like the craziest option, I think, either. So, kind of all plays are justified in my opinion. But
oh my god, what if it all comes back to the Song of Time?
It certainly could.
It's Toilet. No, Jack, you don't need to ruin my dreams. I know that's not possible. But...
So the good news for Krez is that despite getting trolled pretty hard this seed so far, Krez will be finding one Triforce piece here, and that is good enough to qualify you for the Triforce Blitz tournament, as long as you just play the seed long enough to find one piece. It doesn't really matter how long it takes you. You find one, you're in the tournament, and once you're in the tournament, you can just do better next race. So soon Krez will have that boogeyman off his back, so to speak, and we only have 26 minutes left, so we are 2 Triforce pieces that are somewhere eluding us. And, boy, it seems unlikely that we're going to see all 3 at this point, which is very surprising. But this seed has been... it's been a lot.
Yes, and for those who are new to Triforce Blitz, if you look at the tracker beneath Jackstronomy, you'll see that there's a golden stopwatch icon that has appeared now. This basically is just a signal that if it were to come down to like a time finish now, so if the timer ran out, Jackstronomy will be the one that wins the race right now. At least on restream. Yeah,
and keep in mind that even if we don't find all 3 Triforce pieces, it doesn't mean that like everybody lost the race. The 2-hour time limit is part of the game mode, and it's designed to kind of save us from seeds like this that are either really complicated or have something in the layout that's either unfair, or if the Triforce pieces get placed behind like so many items that it would just take a really long time and not be fun. That's kind of what it's there for. So even getting 2 out of 3 Triforce pieces in a certain seed could be a really good finish. So it's not like, oh man, I didn't get all 3, like I really screwed it up and played terribly. You're gonna have to evaluate the times based on the specific seed, and not based on just hoping to get all 3 every single time.
Oh yeah.
Although that is part of the fun, is just like trying to challenge yourself and getting all 3.
Yeah, and also that is a legitimate strategy as well. Sometimes it's optimal to just go for the easy Triforce piece quickly, so you know that at least on the timer you'll have a good time.
All right, Krez is on the board. So where are you off to, Krez? You basically last location that Triforce piece in the bottom of the well. That's kind of unlucky with the routing, but that's how it goes.
Oh, big chest, big chest. It's unlucky.
Yeah, that's I mean, it's kind of helpful, I guess, but with 23 minutes left, like, when are you going to be going back to a GTG? Like, it's not really a double dip place.
Hang on, we're doing Song of Time right now. It's finally coming into play. Oh, that's a big chest in the middle of the maze.
I wasn't paying attention to see if there was any Song of Time locked keys, but certainly when you see a big chest in the middle of the maze, it does make you suspicious, because often there's a lot of items that lock that, and one of those items is definitely the hammer now, seeing as that chest in the fire is a key. That means that logically, but not actually, you need that hammer in order to get to the center of the maze.
Yeah, he can just run into the fire, and Link is kind of like fireproof, so it won't really like hurt him that much.
So it looks like there was one key on the right side as well. So now we know that Hammer and Song of Time both logically required to get to the center of the maze. And well, you're turning your memes into reality, Spell. Song of Time, maybe it's a thing.
No, let's not be too hasty.
Well, if there's
I like it when I meme. I don't like when my memes like stop being dreams and become reality.
Well, that's 5 keys on the right side, so there's a decent chance that, depending on the key layout of the maze, Jax might be able to go straight to the center here without finding the Strength 2 keys. Let's see how this looks here. We've got, I think, 3 or 4 checks that could be keys, and we only need 2 to make it to the center.
Yeah, we need 7 keys total. We have 5.
And there's a second key there, so
one more
somewhere.
That's not a key. That's not a key either.
Oh, there's a second big chest in the maze, so we can get to that one.
You're gonna go there regardless, whatever else you might find. Truly, you gotta question why Jax isn't just going straight down the toilet, because that is definitely the best place to go right now.
Well, let's see. So no other key here, so this is as far as we get, and this is Slingshot.
It's fleet bait. Oh, and we're sending a warp point here. Making good use of the Triforce wind we got earlier.
Yeah, I'm sure that Jax will just clear as much of the left side as is necessary to find 1 key, and then just warp back to check the center of the maze. Seems pretty smart to me.
I love that the thing just like goes to whatever door you just enter through, like not to the start of the dungeon or the maze, but just right there. Alright, Jax, let's see what you got.
20 minutes left, so kind of everything to play for. Like, getting 2 pieces in this seed could still be a massive win, because I think a lot of people are going to end up with 1, given how difficult this seed has been. So getting 2 could be a really massive boost in positioning, and no key here as well. 2 checks left that are not Strength 2 locked. Actually, I take that back. Toilet could have a key as well, so some options still left, but getting slower and slower.
Ela. Imagine, wouldn't it be so funny if on the Triforce Blitz Season 2 qualifier, the toilet was like just heart required?
I would love that. I think that's hysterical.
Yeah, me too. Really sets the tone, wouldn't it?
This sometimes can be a very difficult situation for runners, because whatever ideas the runners may have about where the Triforce pieces are, you only have 19 minutes left, so you kind of just want to get into a dungeon and start checking stuff and hope that the logic works out for you. And maybe, better lucky than good, although some of the high priority locations could be, I think Spirit Temple with that potentially Path Mirror Shield could be up there, and GTG is certainly a good option. Probably is the highest 2 priority places to go to. And just GTG in general has a lot of possibilities for weird logic, like the maze key logic especially can be weird, and in a seed like this where you just know it's weird, it's not the worst to just go for it. Jax getting that key, so we will see the center of the maze, but I think Jax just wants to shoot the eyes, because this is the last check.
Yeah, you don't want to have to come back here later.
Yeah, and so this is short enough that you might as well just give it a peek. And then go to the center of the maze, and then throw your hands up and complain.
Oh, Jax, be careful, we only have a couple arrows left. Jax taking careful aim here. Another key. Gets it, even though they don't really need it for anything right now, but that's okay. I respect it. Alright, let's see this big chest. Wouldn't it... Oh god, imagine if it's a Triforce piece. And
oh my god, it's wisdom.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's really good.
So I have no idea where that that last I have no idea where the last key is. It could be in toilet.
It could be in, then it would be key, then it would be toilet for key logic. Which
Well, it has to be, right? Because there would have to be something in Fire Temple, unless it's like Strength 2. But then Strength 1 would have to be passed as well. So I think it has to be the last keys in toilet.
We can check later, of course, in the spoiler log, but yeah. Regardless of what it is, it's hilarious.
This is actually like the best case scenario for Krez, because Krez ended up bailing on Vol after getting kind of tilted, and that's actually going to benefit him. Although no, he's no bow. He has no bow. Oh no! Can he? No. I don't think he can get enough keys.
He can. You don't need the bow. There's a key by the wolf bows and there's a key by the bow. So
was there any keys in the bow checks at the beginning?
Oh shit.
Well, he's gonna get furores at least, so he could potentially drop furores and maybe be able to run to the bow. But yeah, I think he's gonna need either Strength 2 or a bow, or we can do toilet.
We can, right? Yeah. But can't you just do toilet?
I think it might still be one short. I'd have to look at all the locations. But this is agony.
And Jax is going for Shadow. I mean Spirit, which I think actually, yeah, that could be it.
Okay, so we're thinking if Krez does toilet, he might be able to get all the way up to 7 keys. So there is hope. And probably 2 Triforce pieces in this seed is going to be good enough for like a pretty good finish, we're thinking.
Yeah, could it be that it's just right here in Spirit and it's just locked behind the stupid fucking slingshot? No. There's no way. Nah. Get in here.
I mean,
nah.
You never know with Spirit Temple. Like Spirit Temple can just be weird. There's a lot of extremely bizarre quirks for certain checks in Spirit Temple, and so it's not a bad place to go if you're confused. And I think we're all pretty much confused at this point.
I am confused, but then that's my perpetual state.
The question is, are we going to get a key here? I cannot see that through the bridge. Is that a key? I still can't see that.
It's small regardless. I think it's not a key.
No, it's not a key. So we're locked out of Spirit on the child side. So no dice there. Where are we going, Jax?
It has to be. It has to. Wait, no, it's impossible. It cannot be in Forest Temple. Because that's bow lock. The bow is way too deep, right? So that's definitely out of the question.
This could be a Shadow 2 check. We've got hovers, we've got long shot.
Oh yeah. And whatever it is Jax wants to do right now, they need to do it fast because time is ticking.
So we got a question about how deep is Forest. We think that Forest is 3, but we kind of don't know about bows. Bows can be weird. We found one in a weird place, and depending on where the other ones are, potentially bow lock in Forest could be a 4, but it's really hard to say, and I don't think we're going to be able to figure out for sure before the time runs out.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, Shadow 2. Is this a big chest?
No.
It is not Shadow 2. Okay.
Well, back to fire, I suppose. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm stumped as to where this last Triforce piece. This courage piece is really weird.
I don't think it can be fire.
No, I don't think so.
Because of the bombs. Because Rudo's is locked by bombs because it's in Colossus. And so Hammer is locked by bombs and Rudo's. So this is like, I think this is too deep.
Yeah, I think so too.
I guess it's not like impossible, but
it's improbable.
I can't see how you can get to deep fire. I mean, maybe if the front three here are all bombs and it's just not hammer locked in fire, it'd have to be a really weird layout, basically.
Chris is just clearing Kronos now.
I think Krez is looking for strength or a bow, thinking that it can just be anywhere. And just trying to maximize the number of checks he can do in the last 11 minutes. It's not a bad play.
Oh, of course. I would never suggest that it was.
Yep, it's just, even though it seems like it's kind of random, it is a good strategy, especially in this situation where Krez knows he needs to find something in the last 11 minutes so that he can use Furores to get back to GTG. And just checking as much as possible within that time limit is going to be helpful. And Jax verifying that the rest of fire is hammerlock now is out of there. So that's really smart. Just making sure that it's not something silly like in lower fire that's just bomb lock. And now probably is just going to commit to Forest to get to those bow lock checks. And I don't know if Jax has been in here yet.
I don't think so, no. Which is unfortunate, because there's a lot of nothing in here.
Well, but I think Jax knows that the only place it can be is bow locked. I was actually a little bit confused, because I think Jax needs a key to get to... At least Jax could like go to start peeking bow lock stuff. But gonna need a key to do that. So there are some like kind of YOLO plays, basically. Oh, it's straight 2. Is there? If there's a immediately back to GTG. Immediately. Are there keys here? I don't think it's enough. There could be a bow here though.
Hold on. That's impossible. Very easy to forget the switch. It is here. Oh my god, my cat's driving me crazy. She's so impatient.
I'm so nervous.
Yeah, me too. We haven't finished it yet at all, by the way.
I have not been looking at the race room, to be honest. I do not think so.
No. I'll have to look. No, I think I actually spoke a little bit quieter, sorry.
And Krez gonna be insanely tilted to see no keys behind Strength 2 and no bow either. So go fish.
Yeah. Oh, could it be Jabu?
I don't think so, because all checks in Jabu require Boomerang. And let's see, scale bombs, Rudos.
Boomerang.
I think Boomerang. Like, I mean, I guess, but I think ZL's in there. And no, ZL's for Rudos, so it's too many. Jabu's too many.
Yeah, you're right. yeah, you're right.
Oh, and Jabu is foolish for silly people who actually read their Baron hints.
Hints? Excuse me, people. Come on, do you think I keep track
We're
of that?
using brain power here, okay?
This is the commentary booth. We don't know anything. We're just reading chat and then we're pretending like we came up with it. That's really all we're doing.
Okay, I really love this play by Jax. Skipping everything, just getting one key, going straight for bow lock stuff. I think this is really smart. Like, this is thinking on their feet with time running out, going to unlikely but possible places where it could be, because the areas that are possible are not that many at this point, so you're kind of just down to the weird places.
Just going for a Hail Mary at this point, really. It's clean, clean. We like it. We like what we're seeing right now.
I think Krez is going for Shadow 2 here.
Yeah, I think so. That's a key.
I kind of hope that Krez will end up in Spirit Temple after this. I just think it is possible that, you know, we know that there's got to be a key on adult side, and we know that there's no path strength, so yeah, okay. So this is a good place to be with about 6.5 minutes left, and just hoping that you run into...
Ela.
Yep.
What if there's 3 strengths available?
Oh, I think for sure that's the case. For sure that's the case.
And it's just super trolling us right now, and it's just right here in adult. Oh my god, that actually makes a lot of sense that it would be here, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because you know, you can cross with Epona. I'm assuming Lens is out there somewhere, so you don't really need Requiem or
Cross for what? We have the song, right?
Right, but the idea is if you can cross both ways, then neither of the ways will be path.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. That is true. You're right. All right, Seed, hit me. I'm ready for some stupid shit.
Well, we're probably going to be getting a key first.
Yep. Wow. I guess. Just kill the wolf. There we go. Jack's doing the cool ground jump strats in Forest Temple. I like these.
I think another reason why Krez is here is he's got the information from Fire Temple that probably irons or mirror his path, and it could be mirror, and Krez can certainly make it to mirror locked checks within these last 5 minutes, so you kind of have a chance to get both of the pieces.
Another key.
Obviously, we know where Wisdom is, but from Krez's perspective, Wisdom could certainly just be here in Deeper Spirit.
Yeah. Why is Oh yeah, never mind. I did know. This is a race against the clock, though.
This is what it comes down to. This is why Blitz is so exciting. There's 4 minutes, 15 seconds left, and there's one Triforce piece that has eluded us this seed. We've got 2 of our runners in dungeons trying to just get any possible place to see if they can run into this last piece.
I love what Jack is doing here. Like skipping the painting spin out and just do this first.
Oh, because this is going to be a Furor's play. This is actually kind of a cute trick.
Yeah. Also, the paintings are just super slow and time is running out. This is 2 guaranteed checks, right? So.
Looks like we have a finisher in the race, which is pretty crazy. I wasn't expecting a 1 minute or 1 hour 57 minute first finish for these path counts, but that's what you get. Wow! So congratulations to whoever that was. I'm sure we'll go over all the results once the timer has expired. But congratulations.
Let's do a restream for now, but. Actually, no, I can quickly announce it. Someone already did it in chat anyway. It was Alexis in first place with a finish time of 1 minute 56. Sorry, 1 hour 56 minutes and 17 seconds. Well, I suck at announcing times. Never mind. I regret my decision.
I believe Alexis is a returning player from Season 1 and did pretty good in the Season 1 tournament as well. So congratulations to Alexis. Really well done.
Yeah, especially on this seed. That's a strong showing. If we are going to find a third Triforce piece in the restream, it has to happen right now. It would be awesome to have a restream finish with.
Well, if you want a restream finish, then you better hope that it's in one of these next 2 checks in Forest, because I don't think we're going to see much more than this.
Yeah. Next 2, I think, is being optimistic. It might just be this one alone, honestly.
I think that Jax can get to the blue po.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh no! It's like a minute too late. Oh, that's so unlucky.
How trolly. What a troll seed.
Oh, I don't think this is going to be in time. It's going to be really close, though, because he's going to warp to the front, and he's going to be able to get the other bow-locked keys. Oh, God, I don't know. I don't think this is enough time. Yeah, I'm sorry to say. Yeah, I think it's going to be like 30 seconds too late. Oh, that's so heartbreaking.
Oh, well, you never know. But yeah, I think you do gotta know. Jax Crate can still open his chest real quick. Oh my god, imagine if this is it, by the way. It would literally be like, like 20 seconds left to spare on the clock.
I mean, it's routed pretty well. Like, Jax managed to check almost all the bow lock stuff here.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's see. Come on, game. Oh my god, it's teasing us. No restream finish.
I feel so bad for Krez. This is literally going to be 20 seconds or 30 seconds after the timer expires.
Yeah, there's no way.
It's just like, it comes down to like a lot of execution things. Like, unfortunately, Krez had, the Phantom Ganon, Bold Deaths. Boy, those 2 minutes would have made a big difference.
I just want to quickly announce that we have a second place finish from Flush. 1 minute, 59 seconds, and 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 40 seconds.
That is super exciting.
Yeah, and then no one else finished. So yeah, 2 finishers only. That's crazy.
What a wild 884 seed. What a cool qualifier seed. And commiserations to Krez on that. 30 seconds too late. That's Blitz. I mean, that's just a tough break, but I mean, you can look back and say, like, well, I had a lot of execution errors, and sometimes that's the difference, and you just live with it, and, everything's going to be 1v1, best of 3s from here on out, so still everything to play for, and nobody getting eliminated today, so come back next time and rock it.
Yeah. Wow. Damn, what a weird seed. What a weird seed to start this tournament off with, honestly. Like, we had it in Season 1 also. I would say this one was weirder than the Season 1 qualifier. That one was pretty weird too, but this one is just so... Where is that courage piece, though?
This is... so, give us a minute. We'll announce where it is, because I actually have the spoiler log.
Oh, okay. Oh, so that's why you knew everything. Just kidding.
Yeah, I knew everything. You could tell based on what I said this in the commentary.
Right. Ela will be announcing the spoilers for this seed pretty soon, and we'll know where this darn courage piece was. This confounded courage piece. Eluding us.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, why not? And we will be getting the races in for an interview. At least we're going to ask them. I imagine they might have a couple of things to say about this seed. You know, 1 or 2 things, I can imagine.
Oh no.
Oh
no.
Oh, no, yeah, you can't.
And
you
now
can't
I feel even worse for Krez.
Eli, you can't do this. Tell us where it is.
The Triforce of Courage. is in Spirit Temple boss key chest.
Oh my.
So if Krez hadn't found the bow, he probably would have made it to that check.
Oh my god.
Like, literally the only way he doesn't get the second piece is if he finds the bow there. That's so terrible.
I don't want to be disparaging here, but if Krez didn't have the execution errors he had, it theoretically would have been easily possible for him to even time the seed if he had kept going after he got the bow.
Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, certainly there's like a lot of things you can look at. Hey, welcome, Krez.
Hello.
Hi, Krez.
I have some disappointing news for you. You had probably the worst luck on just circumstance, I think, that I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, where was the 4? Was it bow locked in forest?
You don't want to know.
You're not gonna like it. It's boss key in Spirit Temple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if you actually hadn't found the bow, you probably would have run into the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or gotten the bow from. If you killed Vilvaja, you would have also gotten a bow from the Requiem. Right? I think that's right.
Hello. Let me just
Hello.
let me get my sound set up here. I mean, I do have permissions. Let me just fix my sound. I'll be right back.
Well, while you're fixing that, we'll kind of chat with Krez. So, I mean, I think probably for you this is kind of a tough result because you're just 30 seconds too late to the Wisdom one, and you were in the right place for the Courage one as well. So just kind of a little bit of bad luck. And I know you've been grinding really hard on the practice races, and you've beaten me a few times in a row, which I have not forgotten. So good job on that. But just how did you feel going through the seed? Kind of seeing the path counts being pretty low, and then this.
Well, my first thought when I saw 884, I was like, okay, I can get all 3 of those in 2 hours, no problem.
That's what we thought too.
Yeah, and then paths started getting confusing. Things weren't working out as I thought they were going to be. The only one I was sure of was that one in the well. Once I started getting, things pointing to Nocturne and Dins, and it's like, well, I'm not getting a shadow hint. Got to be storms behind shadow. It's going to be in the well. That adds to 8. So that's the only one I was confident of.
That's probably... It was the first for me. Okay, so... Yeah, let's talk about this seed.
All right, welcome, Jax. So
welcome.
You got 2, and what you didn't know is Krez ran into a bow at like kind of the most inopportune time and ended up finding the GTG centerpiece 30 seconds after the time limit.
No!
And it's even worse because Krez was in Spirit Temple climbing to get the Courage piece, which was...
yeah, that's why I figured at this point that it was, that's why I figured that it was, I just hadn't found my Wanderer strength.
Yeah, and you weren't going to, because both of the other strengths were in Dodongo's Cavern in the first 2
Which
checks.
I was hard avoiding because I was like, okay, where can my piece be?
Wait, they were both in there?
They were both in Dodongo's Cavern. The first 2 checks in Dodongo's Cavern are both strengths.
Well,
that's what I was thinking by this point where I was like just fucking around in forest. I was like, yeah, maybe the hovers lead to both my bows or something. I don't know. That was the most logical thing I'd come up with, but yeah, DC.
I do
Pretty
have
awful.
to go, so I'm just going to quickly say thank you, Krez and Jax for
Yeah.
the great restream performance, and also Elagatua for co-commentating. I have to go really quickly. I just want to say one final thing. I'm really glad that the generator, we found its like zeal to generate awful seeds just in time for season 2. That's really great. That happened in season 1 as well. We just got awful seed after awful seed, so hopefully that won't repeat. This is just a one thing. Probably won't be though.
I mean, this wasn't that bad. This was just like, well, I knew I had options. I had my little notepad out here with all my things. I'm like, basically I have forest and spirit ? Are my two options here. So yeah, I knew what it was doing.
You actually made the right play, in my opinion, because the check that it was in Spirit Temple is the boss key chest, which is logically bow locked, and that's the only check in Spirit Temple that is logically bow locked. And so chasing the bow was the right idea, and it was just that one.
Exactly. But no, the looking at what I had is like, yeah, I mean, I was pretty I have been trying to avoid DC recently, just for reasons, but maybe it's like I don't know how experimentation it happens. Yeah, the early going up, I basically the very nice the race room's on not on auto start. I basically just completely jolted out of the gate and basically spent the first 5 minutes basically playing like I had two left thumbs.
Identities are redacted to protect the innocent.
Yeah, so I basically was just trying to calm myself down for the first 6 minutes. And then I go up river just because I'm like, I can go up river, I can handle this. The market path hint, keep going. Fairly smooth sailing, honestly, for the first part of the seed, just trying to unmesh that seed because scale bombs hookshot are messy. It's okay. Oh my gosh. That's great. Mm-hmm. That's all right. Yeah, like that's pretty exciting. The fact that we've I only saw 24 people here. I'm like, oh man, is it gonna be a much smaller tournament? No, just like everybody did this ahead of time.
Dastar, you are muted, probably. Well, democracy says otherwise.
Death Star doesn't know that he's muted. No, but you're muted in Discord. Apparently, I can hear you fine, but yeah, apparently you're just not coming through in Restream. But yeah, it's really exciting that there's still this much interest in Triforce Blitz. Again, it's my favorite format. I may have accidentally brought down the Wrath of Trez by saying it's the superior format, and I'm like, I was joking.
But
it's superior.
Yeah, we all know.
It's superior. I can finish it in 2 hours. I mean, I can actually play this dang format. But yeah,
All right, testing.
Well, I can hear you still, but
All right, well, can we keep going? I'll just see if chat can.
yeah.
Hey, they can hear me. I fixed it.
Wonderful, great.
Great.
Yeah, this kind of tightly meshed paths were just. This one was hard to untangle. Like, that's there are 2 ways about it.
Yeah, so chat, what you didn't hear is that I just basically come in to take Spell's place. He had to run. Yeah, I was talking the whole time and my mic hates me. Sorry. But now you get to suffer with the sound of my voice. So as I was saying, there are a total of 24 people in this race room, assuming they all join the main tournament. That's a total with all the asyncers of 49 racers, which is a lot. And each round is going to be a best of 3, which is going to be a lot. I got nothing else other than it's a lot.
So, would someone hit volunteer in the chat?
Oh, we have volunteers? What's a Oh, right, I'm a volunteer. Right. Wait. No. I mean, so because it's not specifically a TSG thing. That's why.
Yeah, but we're probably going to need some help.
Oh yeah, for
need
sure.
some help, yeah.
When we do get the tournament started, all the races will probably appear on Mido's house, in which case TSG's restream team, as well as many others, will be able to just see about getting those restreams going. They'll appear here and hopefully on other channels as well. But if you are interested in joining the volunteers that help out with those for commentary or tracking, there's a link in that Nightbot posted just above. There's also a link to it on the Mido's House webpage, which will tell you to contact Miraba, and they will direct you to a specific person or team that will help you with it, I think. It's that. I think that's what we agreed on. Anyway, moving on.
Mhm.
But yeah. Now, remind me, Krez, you also played last year in the tournament, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you both are veterans of the group here. Okay, that's what I thought. All the tournaments kind of bleed together. Sorry. Uh, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing it again. Last year we did have a little bit confusing setup with the two different brackets, and I'm just honestly looking forward to a less confusing time with that this time.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, 49 players. We'll figure something out, and then as soon as we get everything parsed, we'll start making challenge lists and all that good stuff.
Good shit. Good shit.
Yeah. So just to give everybody a heads up on kind of what's going to happen next. So the orgs we'll go off and we'll just kind of compile all the rankings and everything like that. And then everything will be divided into just kind of quadrants. So like, quartiles, and we'll basically draw pools of 4 based on that. And there will be a stream somewhere where that happens. And then once the groups are drawn, then everybody will be free to start scheduling matches, and everything will be run through Mitostyle. So we'll have a specific stream or video to kind of announce all the further details, but just stay tuned to the Blitz announcements channel, and
We'll be yelling in Discord, I'm sure.
yeah, so we'll have information there about kind of what's going to happen next, but expect news pretty soon.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's up for me.
We'll definitely have that out there. We'll have the groups so people can schedule their matches, as Ella just said. We'll get that going. I don't know if we will have. What was the phrasing for the way the group stage was going to run? Ella, there was a like.
It's just the GSL format. But
That's
basically, it's just groups of 4 double elimination.
Yeah.
Win 2, and you're in.
All right.
All right.
Well, we currently, I don't think we have anything else specifically to talk about until, everyone finishes their chance. Courage Brusler was in Spirit Temple Boss Key? Yes?
Yeah, that's what
That is
was
correct.
said.
Cool. All right. I am going to go ahead and rate us over to one of our players that is still going right now because they can, frankly.
No spoilers. No spoilers,
Yeah,
please.
please do not spoil any of the answers to. Ooh, maybe we shouldn't do it then. It's fine. It'll be fine.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
It's up to you.
Yeah, we're gonna go see Benji. Drop some gauntlets on him. Don't spoil anything. And y'all have a great day, and we'll see you for the next Blitz announcement. We've got. Oh, sorry. Shoutouts. That was what I was trying to think, and I forgot. Big shout out, of course, to Eto, who made this new graphic and background for us to put on, and Fennel, who helped us program Mito's house to allow all this automation to happen that I actually don't have a job to do, and I appreciate it. Of course, to the Restream team today, which is Purble, Fennel, and Shenak, and the commentators, Spell and Elagatua. The legendary duo of Spell Elagatua is back. And I've been on Restream